Death is one of those things that I started to accept over the past few years. It was one of those things that I really began to fear. Um, it was something that just came to me at once. It was a sudden realization. I think as like we all have that, oh, this is really gonna happen one day. And before that moment, you feel immoral. You never stop to think about it because obviously that thought has never come across before. So when it does, you're like, wow, this is really gonna happen. And there's a moment of pain and shock and hurt. You're like, what's going on here? I remember my first time. I think I was 11, and yeah, it just all of a sudden, I think 2 a.m., it just came by. Couldn't sleep for a few hours, wide awake, and yeah, it was horrifying. And having some near death experiences the following years, you begin to realize that it is inevitable, but not only is it inevitable, but there is a calming sensation to it. That all good things not only come to an end, but it's a satisfying ending. All of those near death experiences had a calming sensation to them. It's strange because before those experiences, if I had to guess, it would be a moment of shock and panic. But in reality, each of those moments, vastly different from one another, it was pure peace. And you felt that everything was perfect. It didn't matter what was going to happen next, because there was going to be no next, but there's nothing to worry about, and there's so many things that we tell ourselves to worry about each and every day, and in that realization of you can do as you please, because at the end it really doesn't matter. It's your legacy, it's what you choose to do and leave behind, and every single thing that led up to that moment is what you decided to do, regardless of if it was what you wanted to do. What you did should be what you wanted to do. Sometimes it's not, but we try to make it as much as possible. And that's how I've started to accept death. It's a inevitable thing that I appreciate, because at first everyone wants this sense of, I don't want to die, or there's immortality. How can we find that immortality? And the more you think about it, the more it's foolish to be immoral, because there would be no point in anything. You would have infinite time to do anything you wished, and where's the challenge in that? Where are you challenging yourself if you have forever to do it? Instead, you don't know how long you have. You might have today, 2 years, 5 years maybe 30 years to do something. But there's always a limit of time that you have to do anything. And that pressure keeps us in line to achieve what we want. And that's the most defining moment of a life. Knowing that death is always on the horizon, and we use it as a motivating factor for everything we do. If you are not challenged by this, then there is no point of your existence. That you are not pushing yourself each and every day. You might as well dead, because you're not living. Death is my most awaited moment of my life. Seeing where I'll be at that point versus what I want versus what I want it to achieve at that point. Finding that inner peace of it's okay, because how many ever years before I was ever born, we're just going back to the same state of life. Billions of years before I wasn't born, and everything else was still on this earth, in this universe, in this whole existence. Life moves on, and you are part of the journey, and you make the most of it.